Hi everyone, here's another question from the monthly questions thread. This one's from Roy. Okay, so your work in progress is going well and you have about 50k words of the first draft done. After drinking a few beers on a Friday night watching YouTube, a massive attack documentary, followed by an Alex McColgan Astrum video about interstellar objects, you wake up with a brilliant sci-fi plot line fully formed in your head. What do you do? Continue the work in progress or stop and blast out the new story that's eating at you? I like this one. I think this is something that a lot of writers will certainly empathise with. I'm definitely no stranger to this feeling. Trying to control our creativity is fairly pointless, I think, or at least it is with me. The mind will come up with whatever stories it wants to, whenever it wants to, and that is often a gift in many senses. However, we obviously can't follow every creative whim that we have, otherwise we get absolutely nothing finished. This might just be how I work, but when I have a novel idea and I start writing it, at the beginning I feel that creativity really strongly. It pushes me forward, it makes me excited to sit and write the story. But as I get further into the story, into the middle specifically, which I always think is the hardest part of a novel, that fire and passion and enthusiasm can tend to wane a little bit. I think even if you're certain where you're going with your story and you're still enjoying writing it at that stage, it takes a certain amount of discipline to stick with it. So in a way, it's no wonder that other ideas that are new and shiny in comparison can lead us astray a little bit. The big issue for me comes from the fact that I can't really apply that same level of creativity to two stories at once. At least not quite with the same level of enthusiasm. It's a this or that for me. And if you're feeling conflicted at the moment, Roy, maybe it is for you as well. You're 50k into book 2 of a series, assuming we're talking about your book 2, that is. A series which is off to a great start as well. And since I've read the opening of book 2, you're continuing that same momentum really nicely as far as I can see. 50k is enough to make sure that the story is alive. It's not going to fade out or just run aground. I'd say very few people get that far into a book and don't end up finishing it, especially when they've already completed a full novel before. So it may surprise you, but I'm going to play devil's advocate here. If you got that new idea and you feel inspired by it and you have some creative energy for it, give yourself some time to work on it. My suggestion, and it's only that, would be to make as many notes as you can to capture the spirit and the feel of the project in a way that you'll understand when you come back to it. And maybe even try a chapter or two just to establish the voice of the story and to get it moving. Unless it's a short story, in which case you could blast all the way through it. But if it's a novel or a longer thing, bring it to life and capture the inspiration that you've got now in something tangible. Let your mind have its moment for a bit with this shiny new thing. Meanwhile, having a bit of a break from the discipline and consistency of being midway through a novel. If you'd never finished a novel before, I'd definitely be saying stick with what you're doing, finish your story first. But knowing that you can finish things, I think you've got space to just indulge yourself for a while. Make sure to preserve what's exciting about this new idea, and most importantly, stop working on it at a point where you're still having fun and feeling excited about it. That way you leave it in a good state to come back to when you've finished your main project, and it can serve as a bit of a motivator to get that book finished, and then a bit of a palate cleanser for when it is done. It'll also help alleviate that what the hell do I write now feeling that comes at the end of a novel, which is always a nice thing to have. To summarise, my advice would be to follow that story and go far enough into it to bring it to life and to preserve what's so appealing about it, and then get back to your main story. It's essentially a best of both worlds, I suppose, but it does sound like an interesting idea though. So thanks very much for your question and your support, as always.